got to number 9, boys. Reset to 0. Grazz, what's this one about?
Yeah, it's one of the darker ones on the album, this is. I think I was definitely going through a low point in my life. Been many of them. And I think I was laying there one night and I was like, this is shit. I was like, you're just going to have to start again here, I think. And that's where the whole kind of concept of reset to 0 came into play. And I remember just staying awake like the whole night, scribbling down lyrics for this song because the idea had kind of come to me. And that's where that was born. But I love it when kind of inspiration hits you. I know it's a lame thing to say, but like I think sometimes you just got to kind of roll with it, whether it's 3 a.m. and you're in a shitty mood. Doesn't matter, something positive came out of it in that we had a decent song for the album. Again, really hard to sing. Dave and I played it the other night on a live stream, and we stupidly thought that we're playing it a full step down because the guitars are tuned a full step down, but we were playing it in the wrong place, tuned down. So it ended up singing it where it was, and it was absolutely riffing my vocal cords. But yeah, I like the song. It's a bit of a dark horse, in this one, as well as being a dark song at a dark point in my life. Sorry, Lance.
I do remember some comic relief coming from this one though when we were tracking it. That big line after the second chorus, things on his own, where it's like, "Can you reset it to 0?"
You're on about the bridge. I know what you're on about.
Yeah, just before the bridge, and Josh was doing that line on his own. I think he'd done a couple of takes, and Ian was like, "No, I wanted to hold the note a bit longer, just a tiny bit longer, rather than tailing it off." And Josh, bless him, sang the part and then went to hold the note, and his voice cracked just a little bit, but instead of stopping the take, he rode that cracked voice all up into a Whitney Houston falsetto. Stayed completely in key or tune, and it was amazing. And ended up as someone's ringtone, I think. Like Ian sent it, it ended up as someone's ringtone. I would love to hear that again. I don't know where it's gone, but we probably could have left it on if anything, because it's beautiful.
I don't know what went through my head.
I wish you guys could have been there because it was incredible. It was like Led Zeppelin kind of like scream, Deep Purple. And I was like, how has he done that?
I don't know. I could have been Destiny's Child. Didn't know until that moment.
Yeah, it definitely did the rounds as a ringtone. I think people must have been like, "Who's calling him there?"
Yeah, he's having that as a ringtone. But yeah, no, I remember that. I'm trying to think what I like about this tune. I know at the end of this track, there's like obviously when it kind of erupts into kind of the last, kind of like driving beat. We've got like 2 guitars. One's like ascending with the lead, and the other one's descending. It was like a really kind of rascal idea, but it works really well. It's quite low in the mix, but you can hear it, and it kind of gives it like a real weird feel, which I think is good for that track because of like what you've just described about it. It kind of fits the mood and the whole vibe of the whole track. So yeah, go have a listen to the little cheeky guitars at the end. Works like a dream.
Yeah,
if I don't say so myself.
Yeah, that was really nice guitar work at the end there. I remember it's quite louder in the original mix. It almost kind of took away from the vocal because it was that good. I think that's why we ended up dropping it down in the end. And Pete's picking really fast through some chords at the beginning, but I'm doing some sort of really I'm slaloming through the vocals at the beginning, and they kind of really sort of counteract or complement each other at the beginning.
Do you think it's another one? Sorry, this is another one that like took its own life, because I remember, like we kind of give a template for a track, and I think we had an idea of what we wanted and how it to kind of end up. But what that template was, it ended up completely different, but like in the right way, because it kind of evolved into what it is, and it works as it is. But I remember it being very different from how we'd like planned out initially. I always think sometimes they're the best tracks because they do have that kind of free creativity, shall we say, rather than just being like a stick into a plan.
Yeah, a bit more honest, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Mate, absolute tune. Do you have a favourite lyric for this one, G-Man?
Yeah, at the very end when it's because you don't know where you went wrong, and then the reset to zero response comes in, and that just sums up the whole song. At the end of it, it's kind of like surmises the whole lyric aesthetic just in that one bit at the end. And I think it works really well having it come at the end though.
Yeah. Absolute banger.
There's another film. Oh, sorry, Justin.
No, you go.
Yeah, when the ending is about to drop in, Dave, and the beat straightens out, there's an absolutely incredible feel in there as well.
Yeah. No spaghetti arms. Spaghetti hair, spaghetti arms. What a guy. We call it bolognese. We don't.
Oh, good.
Sorry about that. What's a word to describe this monster?
Can I go?
Yeah.
A bit depressing.
Oh. But yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's definitely one of the more darker, somber songs on the album. But I think you need that. I think you need a varied palette throughout the album. This is definitely a darker.
It works where it is as well. In the end, like we've just gone from like the breather of Contender into those two massive kind of like big upbeat tunes. Then to this, it kind of lends itself nicely for this part of the album to kind of take that different turn and take that different step. But yeah, so depressing. I can go with that one, Grazz.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
You got one over there, Bolognese.
Probably same vein, but dark. But I mean, I don't know what it says about me considering what Grazz just described it as, but it's probably one of my favourites on the album. It's more kind of my vibe, I'm like eel, aren't I? So, yeah, it's got me all over it, this one.
Yeah, mate. I realise, Dave, I've just given you another nickname there. Probably the 20, 30th nickname I've given you over the years.
Yeah. People start chucking bolognese at me at gigs. I'm going to blame it on you.
Right, track 10, boys. The acoustic number on the album. One of my favourites. I think I always remember we always wanted an acoustic song, didn't we? Because we grew up listening to bands that always did that. I think we were all Dashboard Confessional fans. But I can't remember where you were, Grazz, but I remember writing the kind of basically the whole structure, the verse, the chorus, everything on the acoustic. I think I sent it to you on a voice note. Technology. And what you weren't in the country, were you? You were somewhere.
Yeah, I was just coming back from Munich from my good friend Drew's stag do, and yeah, got this guitar through just on a voice note, and I was like,
Were you drunk still?
Probably still drunk. Yeah, I was like, I can work with that. And I remember just trying to write, just sort of jamming melodies on the train back to Nottingham from London. Yeah.
Oh, really? That's cool. Yeah, mate, it's a banger. I love it. I think it's always a weird one doing an acoustic number when you're like a full band, but I think it's an opportunity to kind of show you off in a way, Grazz. It shows off your vocals like in their rawest form, if that makes sense. I think it works really well. I think it works really well being second to last on the album too. Yeah, big tune. What are you saying, Dave? You like that one?
Yeah, I think that's the reason a lot of bands put an acoustic track sort of towards the back end of their album. It's like a good palate cleanser. You know what I mean? Like it strips everything back and shows a bit of dynamics. But yes, it's a really good one. I remember talking Grazz into playing this one at the arena when we played at Nottingham Arena, and you definitely weren't on board to begin with. But somehow I talked you around, like knowing full well that you'd be terrified. Sorry, mate, but it was good. It was good for you. You did really well as well.
It's definitely character building. Yeah, it can be quite convincing, Dave, when he wants to be.
Grazz, was it that song that I think you had a jacket on when you first started the set. I think that acoustic song, you either took it off before or after. So it was like really silent in this arena. You take off your jacket and you just get like one out of 7,000 people like a woo woo.
I was waiting for that. Thanks. Wow. Thank you for your enthusiasm, sir.
Yeah, I think it was a bloke as well. I remember being thank you, sir.
I mean, if you'd had 7,000 people chant you taking your jacket off, you're in the wrong industry. So,
yeah,
Magic Mike.
Yeah, not Dream Boys. I like this song because 50% of the vocals are just sort of on the cusp of breaking, and I think it kind of really sits really well with it being played on an acoustic. I know that might sound strange, but just sort of screaming over this acoustic, sort of stripped back acoustic tune is very Dashboard thing to do.
Yeah.
And just literally being on the edge of a voice break works really well. And I think my voice does really crack and break at the end. And yes, yeah, the kind of the juxtaposition of those two things lands really well in this song, I
think, Grazz, you even were the guy that introduced me to Dashboard Confessional. No, it wasn't. It was you had the Further Seems Forever CD, and you were like, "Hey, this is the guy from Dashboard Confessional." And then obviously I kind of got into them all from them. So there you go. You got me into them, and then how many years later we write a Dashboard song?
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's very Dashboard. But I mean, in terms of that kind of like that vibe, that's kind of song. You know, he was the master of it. So I think that was our template.
Yeah.
For this. And obviously, it's got its own Lacey stamp on it.
What's your favourite lyric?
Oh God! I will take back all those moments she stole. I think I'll go with that.
That's good. Poignant, that.
Poignant, yeah. Can that be my word?
No, that's my word.
Your word. Okay, I'll let you say that, man. I've just jumped in on that one. Sorry.
Yeah. Where's to describe this one then? Poignant.
Take it away, Josh. Take it away, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what poignant does? It does describe it. I think the context of what he's singing about, the lyrics, the kind of mood that we captured with it. Yeah, poignant. Beat that one.
Can't, mate.
10 points to me.
Can't score yourself, mate.
Oh, I can, and I will.
Yeah, one thing I always liked about this song is I think the sentiment is pretty clear. All I have to do is just wait till tomorrow. Everything will be all right. And I think it's quite easy. It's not coded or veiled or anything. It's pretty obvious. And I think that's why people reacted to it really well, because they can sort of appreciate it and digest it a bit, maybe. And I think it kind of sort of sums up something every single person will go through at some point in their life. And it is captured in a real nice little acoustic pop anthem.
Was it tough recording that one? Because obviously I know we left a bit at the end of you singing on the CD. You kind of like, I think you say, "Okay, we done," and you walk out of the room.
Yeah, because we were doing it.
You don't sound like energetic with it. Like you're kind of almost like done, like you've left everything on the field type thing.
I think so, because I think from like the final chorus to the outro, there's no drop in vocal intensity whatsoever. And when you try and stay up there for pretty much a minute, I think it can take a lot. I try to take a lot out of you physically. I think me and you, Dave, were talking about this the other day about how you're essentially shouting in a room for however many hours, but trying to control it. Like physically, it takes a toll in there, especially when you're doing the high end stuff from the harmonies and whatnot.
I mean, I like it when you shout in a room. So
yeah.
Well done.
But maybe it was that. Yeah, I mean, it was such a nice song to record, and definitely one that means a lot to me. But yeah, I think maybe at the end of recording, I was like, "Is that it? Have we got it? Finally, please."
Well, I like that. I like the shows. It kind of shows the vulnerability. I think everything can look really polished on a record, can't it? And I think that that kind of little extra kind of insight kind of resonates more with people listening.
I think that might be Dave's idea, and I think it's little things like that, like you say, little sort of like the unpolished bits, I think, Dave, you're really good at having that kind of being able to see that. But like, well, let's leave that in because it's another kind of like level of appreciation I think somebody can have on that song, especially when it's a spoken voice. At the time it was being tracked, I think it was a really cool thing to leave in. So well done, mate.
Yeah, I think it's like Josh said, it's everything can be quite polished and stuff, and I've always liked whenever I hear on a record, like, I don't know, like an amp feeding back, or I managed to get a couple of those bits in on the album as well, and like just bits like that, someone picking up a guitar or whatever, and like replicating a tiny bit of what the live element of it is as well. But yeah, I love all that stuff, so I'm going to try and get loads of that on the next album, definitely.
Coming soon.
I remember one time, I think we were just practicing or something. You were like, "Josh, why don't you get more feedback from your amp?" I was like, "Dave, we just bought a £2,000-3,000 amp, mate. That ain't feeding back anytime soon."
Better not, mate.
I know what you mean. Well, I play quite a clean guitar anyway.
What are we about to do then, Dave?
Grazz is going to sing.
He's going to attempt to sing.
Look, he's looking for his voice. Where is it, mate? You found it?
I know I left it here somewhere.
For fuck's sake. Just stop filming.
Yeah, absolute tune. What a banger. I guess that moves us to the end of the masterpiece, track 11, Older.
So I think this is one of the songs that we planned to end on this kind of song. We hadn't really done that with any of the tunes. We hadn't necessarily planned what we were going to open on, what was going to sit where. But this one, we had a vision of how we wanted to close out the album. With that big anthemic ballad, which again, a lot of guys who we grew up listening to were doing or had done. But it kind of served the purpose, and we had that goal to work towards when we were writing this one. And I remember bringing the lyrics, and I think it was the "We're not done, we're not out, we're still young, we're just older now." And I was like, "Oh, is it a bit cheesy, a bit cliched, a bit tired?" And Josh, I remember you be like, "No, that's it. That's the essence of what we need for this tune and what we need to close out the album."
And now us, like it's kind of become, it's grown out of that song now, isn't it? Like that whole we're still older, we're still young, but just older now. It's exactly what Lacey's about. And that I always think of the time when we played this album live on the album launch, and like having that bit at the end where everyone was just singing it back to us. And obviously everyone does it now, but that first time it was just unreal. Love it.
Absolutely. Dave and I were chatting the other day, and we were saying it's going to get to a point where we're not going to be young anymore, or youngish. We're just going to be old.
Yeah, can you change the lyric? We're just older, not young anymore. But no, you're right about the kind of the construction of this one. Definitely was what influenced from the bands we were listening to at the time, having this kind of big anthemic. It's very Taken Back Sunday, and I think we pulled it off. I think the ending was kind of adventurous, and it's hard to capture that on a CD. Now, when you put that in a practice room, and it's loud, and the room's small, and it's bouncing off, the sound's bouncing off everywhere. It just automatically sounds huge, doesn't it? And to try and replicate that on a CD is difficult, but I think we managed to do it on Older, and I was really pleased with that, because you don't want to create something and then it to kind of flop when you come to recording it. You want that to be the timestamp, don't you? So yeah, I think I was really pleased how it came out as well.
I think simplicity was key on this song as well. Like a lot of the songs that we've done on this album, like we're saying, there's stacked harmonies, there's stacked guitars, loads of drum fills, rhythm changes. But this one, it was just purely all about the words and the melody, like what is actually being said, rather than kind of throwing all that at it. But I mean, we did sort of layer up and add,
Wasn't there a vocal that either Dave or me did in the verse?
There was, there's like response, yeah.
Yeah, but we took it out because it didn't need it. Like I said, it lended itself to kind of just be you singing the lyrics throughout the song. Yeah. In that lyric, which you've heard already once, that, you know, and it's a message that everyone resonates with that. You know, we all still think we're children. I mean, some of us act it more than others. But, you know, it's true, you know. Everyone wants to kind of, you don't want to leave the youthful years. They were the fun ones, weren't they?
I think that's it. And I think the opening line, which I'll probably go use my favourite lyric, if you don't mind, Josh, is there's no running for this. It's still coming for you, you know, age. And that just really sets up the sentiment of that song perfectly. And, you know, that's, like you said, it's something that everyone's going to have to deal with or is dealing with.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, you know, well, yeah, as the song says, you know, we're not done, we're not out, we're still young, we're just older now. It's almost uplifted and like, you know, relaxed. There's still time, don't worry.
What's the Easter egg lyric in the Under the CD? Isn't that from Older?
Yeah.
Takes a toll, that one, is it?
Yeah, that's all. Takes its toll, takes a hold, takes from the best of us or something. And that's it. That's a really good lyric, man.
Well done, great. Bloody poet, Grazz. Who would have known?
Who knew? A couple of fun facts about this tune. Actually written about you three. So you three have got a song written about you by me. You're welcome. And I don't know if you guys at home can tell, but the very last few lines that are sung after the kind of the music ends are almost just a little bit out of tune. And I think it was because we'd done a 16-hour day or something ridiculous in the studio, but we had to finish everything that night. Had to be done. And I think it must have been about 4 o'clock in the morning, and my voice was just gone. So I had no control over the singing anymore. But we just had to get these final lines then, and we left it like that. We didn't tune it or anything like that, because it just really sort of illustrated the exhaustion that, you know, we probably were all feeling after having recorded it, and we just thought it was a really nice way to sign it off.
Yeah, it was the last thing. I mean, excluding Tonight, which got added on, of that kind of 10 tracks that was initially intended to be the album. The last thing we recorded in the early hours of that morning, which you would have to correct me if I'm wrong here. Isn't that the one where we then drove from Whitstable to Nottingham, went to work, then finished about 3 or 4 in the afternoon, drove to Sheffield, and got to the gig at 5 to 6 and played at 6 or something like that, or something stupid?
We literally rolled out of the cars and onto the stage, having finished at the studio at 4 in the morning, driven back from Kent and worked a full day at work. So nobody can say we haven't paid our dues, lads.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've never seen any band turn around faster than that in my life.
Pros, professionals. The other thing I like, well, I mean, you kind of touched on it actually, Grazz, is having, like, writing a song to be the last song on the album. Something a little bit like, I don't know, like purposeful or theatrical about that. And yeah, I like the intent of that. I think we're probably doing it on the next one.
A bit like we have done on album 2, coming soon.
Yes. Exactly that.
I think that the whole of Under the Brightest Lights, when you think about it as a whole, like, it works so well from track 1 through to track 11, you know, as we just kind of described. And I think we put so much effort into making sure it did do that. It didn't kind of, it's not just front loaded, and, you know, it's got gems the whole way through, and they're placed perfectly. And I think Older was always going to be that ending song. That's what I was on about. That we had to get it right, and I think we did. I really think we did. I mean, if we were to contest the last song we'd ever play, it'd have to be between Contender and Older for me. But I think Contender would have to take it.
Do this and then Contender for the encore.
Yeah.
Oh, naughty.
Yeah, I think the album as a whole, like, I think it really reflects, like, a really great and really shit time in my life. Like, I'm thinking back, just going through it tonight, I was like, oh my God, it was so much fun. Yeah. And, you know, it just, everything meant something, you know, you know, not like life doesn't now, but like, you know, it was the be all and end all. And but like when you're sort of mid-20s, you don't really know who you are or what you're going to be. And I was, I think everybody is at that sort of age, so overly concerned about how they're perceived and what you look like. Whereas, you know, when you get a bit older, you just care about that sort of thing less. So yeah, it's really strange because you know, there's a lot of negative aspects at that age, I think, that appear in most people's lives. But, you know, personally, it was one of the best times of my life, writing that probably year or so that it took to put the album together.
Yeah, definitely. I think I always look back at it and think of like the silly camaraderie of it all, like taking those massive long drives at like 4 a.m. to get to Whitehall to record with Ian, and sleeping on the floor in his studio, just spending like a week down there having a kickabout outside while Grazz is doing vocals or whatever, and like, I mean, just like
literally on the floor, Dave, right?
Sorry? Literally
on the floor.
Yeah. There was an incident with the burst airbeds. Josh and Pete had to literally sleep on the floor. I think Dave and me and you had pushed a couple of sofas together and were snuggled up to each other. It's just things like that. It's just, I think like one of the things that comes with a band is that camaraderie, and because you're all working towards the same thing and you're all going through the same thing together and you're all creating this one thing together, and then there's just all the other elements that come with it, you know. And I think this album was written the second album was written a bit differently, perhaps over a longer period of time. But yeah, that's one of the elements of a band that you can't explain to somebody who isn't in a band.
I think it was like obviously you talk about the lyrics there, Grazz, and you're talking about how kind of different points of your life and how you're feeling at times and stuff. Obviously, for us guys that didn't get involved as much with the lyrics, it's more like pushing how creative we could be in certain parts and different elements of like music. And I think that whole album, there's so many different bits. When we just talked about like a crazy stabby riff, then to like intricate, pretty guitars, you know, it's not just like 11 songs of exactly the same thing. Do you know what I mean? And I think that in terms of what we put into it, that really kind of reflects the whole album as a whole. Then partnered up with your kind of, you know, different stages of your life and your lyrics and how you're feeling. I think the whole thing just bloody great, and I'm proud of it. Proud of first album, and I'm proud of it. Still listen to it now. You know, who's going to stop me? I own it on CD. I've got it on Apple Music. I've got it on YouTube. I've got it on Spotify. If it was on cassette, I'd have it on it. So you try and stop me listening to it.
Yeah, it's definitely something I think the four of us can all be proud of. And yeah, like you said, there's elements of all our personalities in it, coming through as well, which is great.
It's a good one. 5 years old. Doing great.
There you go. Almost as old as your wig, Dave.
It's like a fine wine, that album. But did I mention album 2 coming soon? Keep your eyes peeled for that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Comment below if you're excited about seeing it.
Comment below what year you think it'll be released. One thing we have to talk about, boys, is the support we got making this. You know, we couldn't have done this on ourselves. We were a bunch of broke, youthful men, boys, who would not have been able to afford to do this on our own. Pledge was an avenue that we went down, and I think we're overwhelmed really with what we got.
Yeah, 100%. I think you've summed it up perfectly there, Josh. It was quite literally overwhelming, the support that we received to fund this album, and just, you know, how people got involved, how they engaged with it. And yeah, we quite literally couldn't have done this without you guys. So yeah, I guess, you know, on behalf of the four of us, we just want to say thank you once again for doing that, because you are the reason we got to make our first ever album.
There you go. I think that wraps it up, boys. What a wonderful, I don't know how long this is going to be, but what a wonderful chat that was about Under the Brightest Lights. Any last thoughts, or you happy to leave it there?
No, it's been a lovely evening chatting through it all.
Cool. Well, look, guys, thank you for watching. This is our new YouTube channel, so please comment, like, subscribe, share it, do everything you need to do to help us promote the channel, and we really appreciate it. So from us to you, you've been legends. Thank you very much.
We're still